Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hi, welcome to Sports Unfolded, episode 10.
Double digits.
Double digits, baby. We made it.
Double digits.
Made it. Excited about today's show. Got a lot of stuff
Would
to
you
cover.
say it's a special show?
It's always a special show when it comes to us, right? But let's start off with this leadoff story that just broke a couple hours ago. Kansas City Chiefs made a trade with the Baltimore Ravens. Basically, the Chiefs acquired left tackle Orlando Brown Jr. for the first round pick this year. So the number 31 pick, the third round, the number 94, the fourth round, and 136, and a fifth round next year. So the Chiefs get a second round this year, so number 58, and a sixth round next year. But they also get Brown.
I'm thinking, why are the Ravens doing this? Like, does this not weaken their team?
So I mean, one aspect I think it does, but they realize that they also aren't going to be able to re-sign him next season. And if you can get a first round pick, so they have two first round picks this upcoming draft now, I think 27 and 31. Probably could package that and move up a little bit and probably get a high quality wide receiver. It's something they really need. Orlando Brown, I mean, for the Chiefs, if you look at what they've done to build that lineup now after that Super Bowl where basically that line couldn't block anybody, they had several injuries. If you look at 700 snaps last season at left tackle, Brown, 0 sacks, 0 quarterback hits.
Which is quite amazing. Like, that's phenomenal. Like, I would put him as the number one lineman, to be honest with you, with stats like that.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's definitely a bolster for their line. Plus, they got Kyle Long, came out of retirement. They signed Joe Tooney from the Patriots. So that line is starting to look phenomenal. Like you're looking at a line now that, if they stay healthy, is probably the best line in the AFC.
Yeah, and it also makes them the prime team to go to the Super Bowl.
So we're looking at Tampa, KC,
A rematch,
two?
yeah.
Possibly, yeah. So I mean, really, really good pickup for the Chiefs. And if you look at what they gave up, it's not a lot. So I really feel
I mean, it's not what it. How is it gonna hurt? You know what I'm saying? Like Kansas City has a team that is going to be good for the next 3-4 years. So
yeah, this was a great move by the Chiefs. And to your point, you know what I mean? Baltimore, I still think's competitive. You got one of the fastest quarterbacks in the league. I mean, he can move around. They're talking about signing the left tackle from Pittsburgh, the former left tackle from Pittsburgh. So I mean, they'll be okay. I mean, they're a run first oriented team. So I think from that standpoint, this doesn't hurt them as much.
He'll be running all right when that blind side comes in, in full force. You know what? Look, hey, we've seen other quarterbacks get trampled, even though they were mobile. You don't have that left side covered. You're gonna have some tough games.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll see what they do if they decide to use those 2 draft picks to move up as well. Possibly to get an offensive lineman. I mean, that's still a possibility as well. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't go offensive lineman.
Oh yeah, no, that's a definite. That's probably key for them right now. And considering how many quarterbacks that are going to come off the board, so you're basically eliminating, a third of the draft in those first say 10 to 15 picks. So,
As you know, we are live at the Dr. Fix-It Cyber Complex. So we're excited. If you ever want to join us, let us know. Reach out to the show. You could definitely do that. We have fans who are chiming in. Dan, we appreciate it. He's already, talking about some defense from last year's Super Bowl. Let's move on to the NBA. So the retired Miami Heat superstar Dwayne Wade has bought ownership share of the Utah Jazz. What do you think?
Well, I mean, does he at this point really? I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, it's not like he's going to be jumping on the court and getting into the action. So whether he's a good businessman or not, we're going to find out.
So we talked about last week with Alex Rodriguez, right? Buying a stake in the Minnesota Timberwolves. I like this move. 13-time NBA All-Star, 3-time champion with the Heat. But think about some of the key guys that he's learned from too. Pat Riley, who ran that organization and ran it phenomenally. I mean, he understands the game of basketball, knows what it takes to win in the NBA.
And I hope he gets to have an input in, from GM on down.
And I don't think he would have got involved unless, you know what I mean? I think he could have that piece of it. He can relate to today's players. He's played with some of these guys currently that are on the team. I like this move better than the Alex Rodriguez. I think this has more chance to be successful. Plus, it's a much better team. So from that standpoint, I mean, you have to look at it that way.
With Utah, they're already kind of established. Okay, so whatever decisions that he makes for the team, I don't think is going to be bad. But you can go down from where you are. In A-Rod's position, you can't go down any further than what they are.
Yeah.
So you can only improve the team. So Alex Rodriguez is actually put in a better position than what,
It's an interesting way to look at it. No, absolutely.
I mean, so there is he could fail and bring the team down, to the abyss. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to do a good job because, like you said, he knows a lot of the ins and outs of what's going on. He learned from Pat Riley.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great teacher to.
How do you not be successful?
I'm sure he learned.
I mean, Pat Riley's basically 2 franchises. If you look at what he did with the Lakers, the Heat, he that guy understands winning.
Yep.
And he built championships with the Heat with Dwayne Wade. So I'm sure there's some of that'll show up when he takes over with the Jazz. All right, let's talk about the race for the MVP in the NBA this season. Any particular players currently you think are the front runners?
Well, personally, I like 4 players. Luka. To me, he's the better player out of the whole group. But if Dallas doesn't make the playoffs, then that washes that out.
Currently, the 7th seed, I can't see them not making it.
I think they will.
It'd have to be a collapse. So
right. So I think they're going to make it, and I think they're going to climb higher. So he would be my MVP, if not him, Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard, very good.
Because, I mean, look, Portland, I mean, he has carried that team.
In a tough West, yeah.
And I think it would be one of those 2 players. I mean, that's what I would go.
So I put 5 players on my board. Steph Curry, just for the fact of if you think about the injuries, what they have to sustain, averaging 31 points a game, 5 rebounds for a point guard, 5 rebounds, almost 6 assists a game.
Yeah, the numbers are there, But again, if you don't make the playoffs, it doesn't matter. So you're MVP of what?
So this is that argument about MVP that bothers me sometimes. It's I don't think it's more about the record as much as if you take that player off the team,
yes,
where would they be, right? So I looked at it from that standpoint. If Golden State didn't have Steph Curry currently, they'd probably have the same record as Minnesota Timberwolves, if not pretty close.
Yeah, so they'd be out of the playoffs.
Right. How about Julius Randle?
That's actually a good pick. I don't have him on my board, but I can see where if he was to get it, I mean, congrats, because like,
Yeah, nobody expected the Knicks to
No.
be. They're fourth
No.
currently in the East.
and we talked about this way back in I think our first show.
One of our first shows, yes.
And we were like, I don't see them making the playoffs, but if they go out and get a player, they could do some damage. And since then, they've turned around their season and have been playing really well.
So he's averaging a double-double, 24 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some great numbers there, and you wouldn't expect it. Luka Doncic, you discussed about 28 points,
28.7.
8 rebounds, 8.7 assists.
I know. Like,
And
what
again-
more do you want a player to do?
And they started off poorly. So if you look at their 7th, but I mean, they've turned their season around as well. How about Joel Embiid?
That's another good one.
First in the East, 30
I-
points a game, 11 rebounds.
And two of the other guys, I had Giannis, of course, from Milwaukee.
Giannis, yep.
Bradley Beal.
Bradley
actually
Beal.
have on my list.
The fact that Washington
It-
currently could make the
right?
playoffs,
Like-
well, nobody expected that.
No, and people don't even realize that they're actually still in the NBA. It's like this team has been terrible. And it's like, oh, we have these stars, and like, oh yeah, they do well at the beginning, and then they just fade away.
They
But this
traded John
year-
Wall. They get Westbrook.
Yes.
You're like, oh, they'll be okay. They started off horrendous.
No,
Didn't look like a team that was even going to, come out of the East at all.
no, and I mean, Westbrook. I mean,
Triple double.
and he's still, in my opinion, I think he's still going to get a little better down the stretch. Like, I know he's getting up there in the years, but I still think he can turn it up another notch. He gets into another gear. This team could be dangerous.
Yeah, they got one of the best scorers in the league. Bradley Beal, I think, is the second leading scorer in the NBA. So
He's actually tied with Curry.
Yeah. So very interesting MVP. I mean, if the fans out there, anybody has any opinions, let us know. Reach out to Sports Unfolded. We'd love to hear what you think about who should be the MVP for the NBA currently. Want to move on to some baseball?
Absolutely. We haven't talked much baseball.
Not much baseball. The season's, just getting started, but the New York Yankees have one of the worst records in Major League Baseball. How concerned should Yankee fans be?
Not very. They won last night. They're what, 7-10 or 7-11 or something like that.
7-11, I believe.
They're what, like 3 games, 4 games out? It's only a few games.
So I looked at this.
It's-
They're currently 29th in the team batting average, batting 205. 23rd in home runs. So you think Bronx Bombers, 17 home runs. Those numbers will improve.
Absolutely.
I would have been more concerned when I looked at their 6th in Major League Baseball in ERA.
Yeah.
Which is very good, and 7th overall batting average against.
So they're going to come out of it.
So think about this. Teams are batting 219 against them.
Yeah.
The team's batting 205. Why they're losing right now is just the bats haven't gotten hot.
Right. And that, look, it's the beginning of the year. Every year we see this. Every year there's teams that are going to play really well at the beginning, and teams are going to play really bad at the beginning. And you can play bad enough to put yourself out of it, which the Red Sox did last year. The Yankees aren't doing that. They're not putting themselves in such a big hole that they can't get out of it. The next few days, you're going to see the Yankees are going to come through. They're going to play better, and they're going to win some games, and they're going to climb their way back up.
And I also think once you start to play some more American League East teams, and if they can beat them, I mean, they jump right back into it.
Once they get to play the Red Sox, it's all going to go back to normal.
May, June.
And I hate that I'm saying that.
May, June.
But like, I've watched Garrett Richards. He is horrible. Horrible.
How do you really feel?
I don't even like, I've watched him pitch 3 times already this year. And all I see is the ball flying all over the place when he does get it over the plate. When he does, other than that, he's throwing it like 30 feet in front of him, bowling practically, throwing the ball all over the place. So what, like, when you walk somebody with 4 straight pitches at the beginning of games, you're going to be in for a long game. So try to stay away from watching his games. That's the way I feel. Don't watch his games because you're gonna lose your mind. And then Ottavino, he has great stuff. Yeah,
I
he
love
has
that.
great stuff, but apparently the batters are loving it because they're hitting it all over the park as well. So
So I have to agree. I think the Yankee fans, let's relax a little bit. The other day I was thinking about it, like
I
let's
hate
fire
the
Boone,
Yankees,
but
but
I don't.
I see
I
where
would
it's going.
I would say this. I mean, Hicks, Stanton, Torres are all batting under 200. I'm sure their numbers will improve.
Yeah. You think
my
Stan's
only
gonna bat 200 all year?
my
No.
only concern would be this. I started to look at Aaron Boone, and I call it the Brad Stevens effect, where you have a lot of talent. You might be a little bit
Can't get him over the hump.
You're just a little too easy with the players.
Yeah.
Where they don't respond well to you. I don't know if the change is necessary at this point, but you also got to start to look at how long before you say, as a New York Yankee fan, we're accepting just making the playoffs. Like they need to start
No,
winning. They need to
it's
win
not
a
acceptable.
championship. So
You know,
we'll have to
if
see how
you're
that
in
turns out.
Boston, if you're in New York, if you're in LA, if you're in Chicago, you should not accept just making the playoffs.
Yep. So what about of the 6 teams that are currently leading their division? Which one you feel has been the biggest surprise? So Boston leads in the East, KC in the Central, Oakland in the West.
Flip a coin? Actually, you need more coins because both Boston, KC, and Oakland and Seattle, who they're sharing in the West, they're all a surprise to lead the division. They're all.
I'll agree with you on Boston, but my surprise was Milwaukee in the Central.
Yes.
NL Central, because
Yes.
the Cardinals and the Cubs were
Right.
expected to be pretty good.
Yes.
And the fact that Milwaukee is leading, I mean, the West in the NL, the Dodgers are going to run away with that. We all expected that.
Well,
Oakland, what about Oakland? And then Anaheim, like the Angels just can't seem to. And
I
now
picked the
Trout got
Angels
hurt
to
yesterday.
win the division.
Yeah, and Trout possibly hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Trout's out. So is LA.
now he's rhyming. See,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, you didn't know you get that on Sports Unfolded.
Yeah. Well, I look at it this way. Okay, so I picked the Yankees to win that division. They're in last place. I picked Washington to finish first
in
in the AL East. they're in
NL
last
East, NL
place.
East.
NL East. And I picked St. Louis in the Central, and they're in last place. So I'm thinking it's all going to turn around, and everything's all going to be roses for my predictions and stuff like that. And
So we'll have to see how that turns out. So once again,
Yeah,
if you're joining
we'll have
us,
to.
we are live on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We are on every Friday night at 6 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. If you want to follow us on social media, at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, and Sports_Unfolded on Instagram.
throw some comments out there because we can. If you have questions or something, we can answer those
Any
live.
topics you'd like to see us
Like
discuss,
Dan.
we would love to hear from you. We're going to move on to the NFL. We got a lot of NFL news to cover. Alex Smith retired after a 14-year career in the NFL. He played with 3 franchises: San Fran, Kansas City, and Washington. 99, 67, and 1 for his career.
Only good year. Yeah, I mean, he had a good career.
Only 2-5 in the playoffs. 3-time Pro Bowler, 35,000 yards passing, over 35, 199 touchdowns, 109 interceptions. So he didn't make a lot of mistakes.
It was
It
good.
was solid.
It was
And again,
good.
I did 5-1 last season with Washington at the
Yeah.
end, and
Yeah.
just the amazing comeback. That story alone.
It's kind of heartbreaking to see him.
It cements
step
his
away,
career, though,
but-
that I think you can. Anything's possible. I know we hear that expression sometimes, but if you look at the fact that not only could he walk again, but the fact that he could play NFL football.
Yeah,
again.
that means a lot. I mean, he was probably the most determined player to come back from injuries, like at least in the past, 10, 15
Yeah.
years.
And if you look at, there were teams interested, and I think maybe he just felt like this was the right time to kind of walk away.
Yeah.
But really, really, should hold his head up high on everything he accomplished in the NFL.
I think
he played on some very good teams.
Yeah, I think he'd be a perfect candidate for, stepping into a team, being a quarterback coach, or maybe even in the front office somewhere. I could see that with Alex Smith.
Yep, definitely has the brains for it. So good luck, Alex. Well, we wish you well. What about another Smith? We're going to talk about Alden Smith of the Seattle Seahawks. He turned himself in on battery
Yep.
charges just days after signing with the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's a good look, huh?
So 31 years old. I played with Dallas last season, had 48 tackles, 5 sacks. But if you think about how many, he's probably missed a good 3 years of his career just due to suspensions.
Well,
And it looks like another one's coming.
yeah, I mean, and shame on Seattle for even, you know,
Well,
signing him. Like, why would you sign him?
This is one of those things that we could debate, and a lot of people have different opinions. How many times can you give somebody a chance, an opportunity? He's had plenty of opportunities, and I just don't think he realizes how important it was. I mean, if it was months after, but it was 2 days basically after you signed this contract, how seriously are you taking an NFL career at this point?
He's he, he's just not even worth not even worth the time for a team to even look at it at this point. And
In
like,
Seattle,
I'm surprised. I'm still surprised in Seattle.
the fact
But
that
they were
haven't-
hoping. I'm guessing.
Let's see if they cut him. I
Yeah.
mean, we haven't heard anything come out of Seattle yet, but I wouldn't be surprised he gets cut and doesn't play NFL football
Yeah.
ever again. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where this is
I
heading.
think this is his last chance. I mean, I don't even know how many times he's been suspended. I mean,
It's more than we can count. We didn't have enough show to honestly read off the suspensions, so I just decided to go with several.
yeah,
It's been that
uh,
many.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
NFL draft is this
Oh,
Thursday,
man.
April 29th. What do you think the best option for New England in round one will be?
Well, I would like a quarterback, but I don't think that's going to happen. Like, we were talking about this before the show. I think they're going to go defense, and I think they're going to go cornerback. And there's some good ones out there.
Yes.
I mean, we know. I wouldn't be surprised if Bill trades down.
So I did my own little mock draft. There was a
Yes, you
site that
did.
I found, and I actually had us down grabbing Greg Newsome, the second cornerback out of Northwestern.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
this was my interesting pick, though. So as I'm going
It's
through,
interesting that you.
And-
that you
and tell me this: what sounds familiar here? 6th round, number 197. So I know it was 199, but Sam Ellinger, quarterback, Texas. Can he do it again? 6th round draft pick,
Could you
almost
imagine?
199.
Could you imagine?
That's just how it felt to me. And I just said, you know what? We could see this all over again. Another 20-year dynasty.
Could you imagine that? Like, I mean, is he good enough to really be?
Who is good enough to be Tom Brady? But
Well, nobody, but you know.
so, I mean, it's just interesting how it fell. I had him trading down, grabbing another extra pick. A lot of people have them, trending up to move to 4th to try to get a quarterback.
It's not happening.
It's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
So we did post a Twitter poll on on Twitter, on Sports Unfold, and 60% of the fans basically say that out of all the New England franchises, they believe the Patriots will be the next one to win a
Yes,
championship.
yeah, I don't even agree with that.
So who would you pick?
I think
The
Boston Bruins.
Oh,
Yes.
Boston. Good. It could be, and
Boston
I have
Bruins.
to agree with you. I think the Bruins. I voted for the Bruins.
Look, I don't look. It is not crazy to think that they can win it this year. Like, when you look at this team from top to bottom, you got 3 solid lines now, and look, I know Charlie Coyle has had a rough time putting it in the net, but he's doing so much that, defensively, and just like killing penalties, and that line now with DeBrusque on that line, and Richie on that line, they played well, and they played well last night. And they're 3 lines deep, and even that 4th line, like, you got Lazar, Corrali, and Wagner. They're all starting to play well now. It's like they put those 2 guys with Lazar, and it's almost like Achari being there. It's caught fire, and I know that they're hurting on defense. They cough up the puck in their end way too much, but I would not be surprised that this team wins the cup.
Since the trade deadline, they've won 6 straight.
Yes.
They definitely look like a team. The only team hotter, I think, was the Golden Knights. I mean, I think they had won 9 or 10 straight
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
Boston's the next hottest team. I agree with you. I voted for the Bruins. I just
Yeah.
I like the moves they made. I mean, they're hot now. We're still questioning what New England can do at quarterback if
Yeah,
Cam
because
Newton's
like
going to be able to. So
like with the Patriots, I like the team,
we,
but
we know
you
where
know,
you're going,
I don't think they can win the championship
and it's a
with
legitimate
with
right.
New and they could get there. I'm not saying they can't get there, but you got to go through KC. You got to go through KC, and I don't think they can do that. I think they can beat the rest of the AFC. I think that's definitely doable. Cleveland's tough. The Bills are tough. And of course, Kansas City is tough. So I think they can do it, but they won't.
Now, I'm going to agree with you, Bruins. I think have the best odds,
Yeah.
and it'll be really interesting to see
Certainly
how that
not going to
pans
be
out.
the Celtics or the Red Sox.
If the
Certainly
fans
not.
disagree, chime in, let us know. We know Dan has been watching. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Tim, we haven't heard from you tonight. Hopefully you're out there.
I know we lost some video, so
Yeah, it looks
hopefully
like
we get that back on. But we're still
you can
here
hear
with you.
us.
We're still here.
We're working on it.
It's like I keep hoping that Cam is going to do better, but I don't know.
It's all and again, there's too big of a question mark to say that the
Yeah.
championship bound with Cam Newton at the quarterback, unless again he looks like a different Cam this season.
Well, we'll see.
So yeah, we'll have to see.
In Bill we trust, right?
Always. I don't think a good thing they can't see that video.
Yeah.
So last week's pick and roll, top 5 Celtics, really fun.
It was.
I
That
enjoyed
was so
it.
difficult.
So we decided we're going to try the Lakers
Yes.
on this one. The 5 players: Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jerry West, and Shaquille O'Neal.
I've changed my list a million times. I
This
swear.
this was as tough as if not tougher.
It might have been tougher.
So what do you think? So I started last week. You're up first.
Yeah.
5-1, Ron.
All right. So in my original thought I was going to put Shaquille O'Neal third.
Okay.
And then I looked at all the numbers and I'm like, okay, so he's number 5. And mostly I think because he only played 8 seasons with the Lakers, so he didn't get enough time to, get with, more points and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So he was at a little disadvantage, only 8 seasons. He still brought 3 championships
Mhm.
and an MVP.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Not at all.
I'd take that. Oh, wait. We did have Shaquille O'Neal, but it wasn't that Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, we had no.
So fourth, which I originally had at number 2, Jerry West.
Okay.
And I'm like, 27 points a game. I mean, how do you top that? He only had one championship and no MVPs.
Yeah.
And it was close between him and Shaq. Like I'm still not even sure that's right.
Okay.
Number 3, I put Kobe.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Kobe averaged 25 points, 24.996.
Yep.
Had 5 championships,
Mhm.
1 MVP.
Yeah.
It was that's about where he belongs, in my opinion.
Okay.
Number 2 was tough because his Magic and Kareem left. I put Kareem tentatively. He has 6 championships and 6 MVPs. That is incredible.
Mhm.
The rebounding, the points, the
Yep.
whole thing. It is there. And I put Magic at number 1. Magic has something special. 5 championships, 3 MVPs, but there was a lot more than just the points. Like he drove this team, and I remember watching all those battles with the Celtics, and it's like, oh my god, if the Celtics can't win, it's because of them.
And we discussed this
because
last
of
week with Larry
Magic,
Bird, right?
yeah.
And he could have probably won more, but Magic was
Magic was the
that,
guy
was
that
that hurdle
stopped
that
him.
he couldn't get it.
And yes, I know Kareem 6 MVPs, and championships, but there was something else that Magic brought to the team that made them go. And that's why I went with Magic Johnson,
No.
who I think is still one of the top 5 players, period.
Yeah. Yeah. So, funny, we were pretty close in a lot of it. I had Jerry West at number 5, so 14-time All-Star. You're right, the one championship, 5-time All-Defensive Player.
Yep.
All 14 seasons of his career, though, with the Lakers. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that was nice to see. Plus, he's the NBA logo. So you think about what he meant to the
Yeah,
NBA.
I know. It is.
So, just from that standpoint, he was the NBA logo.
Yes.
I had Shaquille O'Neal at 4. So I think, again, we just flip-flopped there. 15-time All-Star, 4-time champ, 3 with the Lakers, 2-time scoring champ, once with the Lakers. MVP, as you said, only played 8 seasons, though. So I think that kind of hurt him.
That's why I put him at number 5.
Yeah.
But I can see him
It
being
could go
number
either
4.
way.
Right.
I had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at 3, 19-time, 6-time champ, 5 with the Lakers, 2-time scoring champ, but never with the Lakers, 11-time All-Defensive Player, 6-time MVP. Again, his numbers, he was a double-double, 24.6, 11.2 rebounds, 14 seasons with the Lakers. I had Kobe Bryant at number 2. And I think it's just 20 seasons overall, 5 championships, 18-time All-Star, 2-time Finals MVP, MVP in 07-08, 12-time All-Defensive Player, 2-time scoring champ, all with the Lakers. So everything he did was with the Lakers, and his numbers.
That's not. It's number 2 instead of number 3.
And again,
it's what you're looking at.
It could have went any way. It could have went so many different ways. Again, I agree with you, Magic. I think when we talk about, I discussed earlier, MVP, most valuable player. If you think about what he did with those 80s Lakers teams, how he personally drove them to be great, to win those 5 championships, 3-time Finals MVP, 3-time MVP of the league, 4-time assist champion, 19.5 points a game, 7.2 rebounds, 11.2 assists.
Right.
13 seasons with the Lakers. And if you look at it, he had a 4-year span there where he wasn't playing in the league due to medical issues. If he stayed healthy consistently, right, those numbers would have probably went through the roof, and he possibly could have won at least maybe one more championship. Granted, he was going into the 90s years with the Bulls, and that would have been interesting to see.
Yep.
But I'm excited just to see that it looks like we're getting back our video feed. That's awesome. But I have to agree with you. I just think he was so special to that Lakers organization that he has to be.
Like it was just more than what he did on the court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like something special. Like it was magical, dare I say. I mean,
no pun intended.
Still top 5 in my book, top 5 player of all time. Like, I mean, I don't know who you put where, but
that might be another pick and roll for another time.
Could be.
No, so if you agree with our pick and roll, again, I think we were pretty close on that. But reach out to Sports Unfolded. We are live on Rhode Island broadcasting every Friday night at 6 p.m. on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. If you want to follow us on social media, at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, and then Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. That's our pick and roll. So basically, we pick them and we roll with them.
Yeah.
So I was kind of excited.
And were either of us wrong?
No.
I mean, really, no.
And again, I think you could go anyway. And you think about just the impact the Lakers organization has had on the NBA. Again, we talked about Jerry West being the NBA logo. They were talking about making Kobe Bryant the NBA logo. So there's a lot, that honestly we could say about the Lakers organization.
I don't want to change the logo ever.
I don't think they should.
No.
Why? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. What do you really gain from doing that?
No, it doesn't.
I mean, you can
to me, it
honor him in
doesn't
different
matter.
ways. Maybe change an award that honors Kobe Bryant.
Right. And look, I will be the first to admit I hop on Kobe Bryant, but it doesn't take away how great of a player he was. Like, he was a chucker.
Yeah, and I think that's what made me put him at number 2. Because I said, when we're talking about MVP, it was more about Kobe.
Yeah.
He was a great player. He won his championships. but it was about Kobe first, whereas
Yeah.
Magic, it was about the team first.
Yeah.
And I just felt like that would be more important. As if I'm running an organization for the first time, I want a guy that's going to get everybody involved and want everybody to buy in. Versus I got a
Right.
guy that can do it on his own, but
Right.
it doesn't help the team overall.
And I think time for Kobe, like the first few years, getting into that mold of, hey, you got to think about the team. You got to think about the team. Because if they didn't instill that into him, then you'd have a Carmelo Anthony on your
Yep.
hands. And who the hell wants that?
And again, he had Shaq when Shaq was at his prime.
Right. And I think, yes, there might have been a clash with those two. I think it's a little overblown. than
Yeah,
what it
I'm
actually
sure.
was.
I'm sure. You know,
But I think Shaq taught him how to be, for the team. And I think those years made Kobe great. Because after Shaq left, then it was Kobe's team. And I mean, he didn't fail.
no, he won. He won 2 more championships.
Yeah, he didn't fail. So
I mean, they won the 3 straight. And I mean, if you look at everybody on this list, like even with Magic, he had Kareem.
yeah.
So
Well, you have to have other
you
great
have
players.
Those great
Bird
players.
had great players
Yeah,
with him,
McHale, Parrish,
Right.
Their big 3. I mean, they had Worthy
Yeah,
with those 80s.
absolutely.
And then even with those Shaq and Kobe's, I mean, they had Robert Ory, who's
Oh
always
my
been
God, Robert Ory was phenomenal.
one of those big time players.
He's one of my favorite players, to be honest with you, because wherever he went,
He
did
won a
his job.
championship,
Yeah,
and we know how important championships are to you.
yes,
So
yes.
he's in the Hall of Fame according to Ron.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'll tell you what: if I'm picking my guy off the bench or my third guy, Robert Ory would be one of those guys. Like he'd be there.
He was a player without a doubt. Let's move on to some NHL. Let's talk a little bit about the
NHL.
Bruins, and
Oof.
again, being one of the hottest teams. But who do you fear most if they have to go up against in the playoffs? Like, what's the team that you say, look, could derail even if they're hot as they are?
The Islanders.
The Islanders could be. Well, they
And I don't
they
think-
beat
I
them
don't-
twice now
Yeah, but I don't
since the
even.
trade.
I don't even think that
Tampa
the
Bay.
Islanders are better than them.
Tampa Bay.
I-
Can they
I
beat
would
Tampa
say-
Bay?
I would say Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Carolina.
No.
Carolina. No.
No. Nope.
Okay.
I fear Tampa Bay more than anyone because I mean they get a full team. But that's a team that and I don't even think they have as good a team as the Bruins. But for some reason, when they play Boston, it's different. It's different, And I can remember years and years suffering through Bruin Montreal games, and then they finally break through when Terry O'Reilly was their coach. And they finally break through, and now they don't have that anymore. Now it's Tampa Bay when they face them. And look, they caught a break before, they didn't have to play Tampa Bay in the playoffs, and then they choked against somebody else, So St. Louis.
The pressure.
St. Louis.
The pressure was on them. I mean, they just.
Yeah.
So how far?
No. Daniel, I hate to tell you this. I do not fear the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like seriously, like they can't beat the Bruins in the playoffs.
I mean,
Like,
they have a young.
something goes wrong all the time.
They have a great young star, but I mean, do they have enough? And
Austin Matthews is incredible.
So you have to look at from a total team. To your point, they have 4 solid lines, 3 really good lines,
Yeah.
Boston, and 1 fourth line that you could say
Yeah.
is pretty good.
Toronto doesn't have the goaltending. If Anderson's not back, they're done. They're not
So
winning.
how far do you think the Boston Bruins are going to go? I mean, what do we got? Another couple weeks and the playoffs begin.
Yeah, there's like 10, 11
Yeah,
games left.
There's not much left.
Bruins still have 2 games in hand over everybody, and they can actually take first. I think they could actually take first
Right, because
place.
they got a couple makeup games as
Yeah.
well from the COVID.
And they get a
layover.
lot of Buffalo games.
Yes.
A lot.
So we'll have to see. I'm pretty excited to see how the Bruins finish. Obviously, Dan we'll make sure
Bees-Avs.
we'll watch out for those Toronto Maple Leafs. Though.
Bees Avs.
Bees-Avs?
That's my prediction for the cup.
Really?
Yes.
What the Golden Knights, Las Vegas?
They're
No?
gonna lose.
Really?
They're gonna lose. Yep.
They're the only team I think that clinched a playoff berth already.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That doesn't matter.
Nope.
Doesn't matter in your book.
Nope. Colorado Avs. I think they're gonna do well.
Once again, if you're joining us, we are live on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We're on every Friday night at 6 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Join us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, and on Instagram on Sports_Unfolded. We are on the Dr. Fix It Cyber Complex. We're really excited about this new studio. It seems to be working well. If you'd like to join us live in studio and watch an actual taping, reach out to the show. We'll make sure we can give you that information so you can come down and join us if you are in the Pawtucket area.
Yeah, like Dan and Daniel.
Dan. We got Dan and
I mean,
Daniel.
if you guys are in the area next week, come down. Come down. Join us in the studio. It would be great. It'd be great. So hopefully you guys are in the area.
So we're gonna go on to our face-off, and it's a weird face-off. We may want to discuss it with the fans, just kind of what exactly this face-off is involving before we discuss it.
Right.
So the NFL has decided to change the uniform numbers and give the players options as to what numbers they could wear. So if you look at normally like a linebacker could be anywhere between 50 and 99, let's just say, they have the option to have single digits now, which will change. Wide receivers can change to single digits versus the 80s numbers and the teens. And so a lot of different changes. Tom Brady's already come out on record and said that he doesn't like it. He thinks that's going to basically mean a lot of bad football. I mean, is this even worth arguing on the face-off this week?
I'm not
Or
sure.
should we just discuss it?
I'm not sure because,
I don't know if I could be for or against it. I'm really face-off. They want a face-off.
All right. So who's going to be for the change?
And who's against? Ron is for the change. Ron is for the change.
All right.
We've got our Sports Unfolded face-off timer. We're going to set 1 minute on the clock.
Yeah.
And
you're going to love this.
Whenever you're ready.
Wait, am I first?
Yeah, I was first last week.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure.
Whenever you're ready.
For the change.
You are for the change. You like this change.
Okay. Got it. All right. So first of all, there's going to be a shortage of numbers eventually because all these players that retire and they get their numbers retired. And it seems to happen a lot to receivers, quarterbacks, linebackers, and cornerbacks. So with that theory, you can actually shuffle in some of those lineman numbers to get in there because eventually, we're going to have to switch over to 3 numbers anyway. So you might as well just start doing it now.
Number 101.
It's not going to affect the quarterback because he's not going to see the numbers. He's not looking through everybody to see the numbers. So it's not going to change the game at all. So I don't know why Tom Brady was against it. It doesn't matter. He's not looking at his number. He knows who's who. You're wearing a different colored jersey. Get over it. It doesn't matter. The number doesn't matter. Stupid. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Xbox doesn't like that word, by the way.
Oh, yes. We found that out. All right. So I am against. All right.
Press what number?
Just hit start.
Start. Okay.
I'm
ready?
Go ahead.
All right.
So I look at it in a different way. If you look at tradition and what the NFL has meant and what these players have, basically formed through all this time, the number one sports entity in the United States is the NFL. Why change something that's working? Why make something different so fans that have been following for 30 years, 40 years, now look at this game and say, why do I have a linebacker who's number 1 or number 0 come blitzing on a call? And as for Tom Brady, and as much as I have my issues with Tom Brady since he left New England, if you look at the fact that a lot of times when they're calling these plays, it's easier for a quarterback to identify who's a blitzing linebacker. It's going to be a lot more difficult now because if you got a number 7, what does that mean? What is a number 7? What is that? You want a lineman that's going to have a single digit number. Don't change something that's worked. It's working. Stick with it.
It's just ridiculous.
But I don't even understand what the NFL is thinking they're gonna accomplish with this. It's
Doesn't
not
matter.
financially. It doesn't
Things
make a
change.
difference.
They don't even do
All right, so
normal
then-
kickoffs
so-
anymore.
So if you look at it this way, how about baseball wanting to add a pitch count or making bigger bases or all these things that
Bigger bases.
they want to make the bases bigger
Okay.
because they say it'll help with steals because now it gives them less of a
Get faster.
This is the things, but this is what they're talking about changing, and the NFL didn't really have to change much. They've already changed the way you can hit a player and how you can block and all these different rules that have slowed down the game or made offense, right? What does this really accomplish?
Hey, maybe that adds to the credibility of the defense now. Because now they don't know who's coming because their number is different. Oh, and instead of, Hightower wearing, his number, now he's 4.
Which
it
is
matter?
a kicker's
Is
number.
that going to change?
That's a kicker's number, though.
Is that going to change his numbers?
I've been watching football since 1985. I know a kicker is a single-digit number. I don't need to see a kicker at 83. Like, what does that accomplish to me? Is he a wide
Doesn't matter.
receiver?
What is it going to do?
Is he a wide receiver now? Like,
It
who's this
means
number 83 guy? Oh,
nothing.
wait, that's the kicker.
Yeah, it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
look at this guy, number 74,
You know,
punting. Like,
all
what are
the
we
fans,
doing?
Like half the fans that watch the games now don't even know there's been that tradition with the numbers. Like
A
some of
true
them are
fan
like
knows.
13. They
A
don't
true fan
know. They have
knows.
no clue.
The fact that we're still arguing this is pretty amazing because I'm just blown away that you would feel like this isn't a big
It
deal.
doesn't matter. I don't care. It's not going to change anything. Because if
Buddy-
that kicker has a number 83, is it going to make him miss? No, the timeout is going to make
just
him miss.
doesn't
The
look
same
right.
thing. Doesn't matter.
Let's paint the grass blue,
So
orange, and
Okay,
let's
so-
just change everything now.
if
Why don't we go backwards? Let's
okay,
do
the
this.
kick is
Here's a-
wearing 83.
Here's a
right?
better idea.
Wait,
I got a
wait,
better
wait,
idea
wait.
for the NFL. Start at 100. Every team has 100, and then just deduct points.
If a kicker
Like
is
every
83,
time, just deduct points.
you
The one
got
that gets the
a
0.
linebacker
'Cause it
or
don't
a
matter.
or a lineman trying to rush that kicker, does it matter? Is he looking at the number or is he looking at
He's
the
going to think there's
football?
another kicker on the other side because the
No,
guy's going to
he's
be a number
not.
4. And he's going, why is number 4? Why is the kicker
That's
out on defense right
absurd. That's absurd. He's not going to think that.
now? NFL, start at 100, countdown.
If Tom Brady changed his number to 99,
Uh,
you think they're going to know it's Tom Brady or not? Of course they are.
Tom Brady's made it 20 plus years at number 12. You want to make him number 96.
No, it's a player's option.
Tom Brady, number 96.
It's a player's option. If he wants to go to number 99, he can do it.
So Daniel says there should be no problems. There's 2 sets on offense and defense. So should we have the same number? Should there be an offensive guy that could be number 80 and a defensive
You're
guy that's
eventually
number
going to
80?
have to do something because as time goes on, numbers get retired. Okay, you're eventually going to run out of football numbers. They're gonna run out. Then you're either going to have to do both offense and defense, or you're going to have to go to triple digits. Who wants to be the first 149? Who wants to be the first one with that?
Well, maybe you could do 1-1, and then we'll just do that. I mean, we'll just add a
Wait,
dash
no.
in there.
You can put a letter, so you could be A1.
How about this? What we go back to the
Everybody can call you
XFL days,
steak
like
sauce.
he hates me, or they could have just nicknames.
Yeah, you could do that too.
Right there we go. NFL, just change it all up. Ruining the sport.
Love it. Love
number
this.
4 linebacker. I don't want to see a Hightower number 4. He's 54. He's a linebacker.
It's only losing one number.
That's what college
They're going to
does right
still
now.
know that it's
So
Hightower.
college pro, Daniel. College versus pro. These are professionals now. There's a different standard, a different league. How dare you bring that argument up?
You're absolutely fine. It's just ridiculous.
Daniel,
A-
you're
A
wrong.
number is a number. A number is a number. It doesn't
Why
matter.
don't we just, you know what, Ron? I am so fired up right now about this. Let's add a letter. How about 1A, 1B? Who's the button? Just add a letter to it.
I just said that. A1.
A1 steak sauce. I like it. Yeah, and then the nickname will say steak sauce. And then you could put all the advertising on the whole jersey, right? Even in the pants, nice little
Absolutely.
bottle of A1 steak sauce on his thigh.
Just-
That's what I want to
Look,
see
just think of
when I'm
all the
watching
marketing
football.
he could do after that.
When I'm watching football, I want to remember back in 90s. I can't. I'm shocked.
So,
I am
so who do you think?
appalled.
Who do you think won this argument?
Yeah, who won that face-off?
Come
The
on,
fans that
Daniel.
are out there, the
Dan
fans that are
Dan.
watching live. Was that Ron or Eric that won that face-off? Clearly Eric.
No,
Clearly Eric. You
No.
all know it. Remember.
you made no case.
Speaking of wins, predictions.
Yes.
So predictions last week, you said that was going to be the week you caught up because I was going against you. I went 3-0. I won all of them. I won all of them.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to tell you is if you're a betting person, you pick Eric. So if you're going to go to Vegas, you're going to Mohegan Sun, local in our area, right? Twin Rivers in Rhode Island, and you wanted to bet on sports. Whatever this guy tells you, you are not going to win. You want to go with where the money is. This is where the money is.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So you're right on predictions and wrong on everything else.
And I was right on Facebook,
No.
on Face-Off.
No,
Clearly.
Nope.
You know, fans are so
Nope.
so scared to even answer because they know
No.
that I was right.
They don't want to
That's why.
answer because they know I'm right.
If you were so right, they'd be answering right now, and they're,
Oh, they will
they're
be.
clearly
You
saying
watch.
that
You watch.
you weren't right.
Okay. So predictions.
Predictions. Let's go. April 24th, Capitals at Islanders.
Ooh, that's a good
That's a
one.
tough one.
That is a tough one. I'm gonna go Islanders.
Islanders at home. Caps on the road.
Yeah.
I'm going Islanders. I'm going to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, because you know I'm right.
Because I'm right.
No.
Ron takes it.
Ron takes it with an arm around.
Oh, you got it.
Yes. Thank you, Daniel. It's nice to have you there.
Daniel, you disappointed me. You got it.
No,
I don't know what you're
it's-
watching.
No, he's
Actually-
watching exactly what he's supposed to be watching.
Actually, you know what? I think this is the key. Do you have your audio on right now, Daniel? Maybe that's why he didn't actually hear the argument. Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you. On April 26th, the Avalanche at the Golden Knights.
Avs.
Avs. I thought you just said the Avs are done.
No,
I thought you said the Avs are going to the finals.
I
right?
said
Stanley
the
Cup.
Avs were going to go to the Stanley Cup.
And Golden Knights are hot.
I don't care.
I'm going with Golden Knights.
You can go with Golden Knights. Especially considering you think you're some Vegas hotshot over here.
That's right. See, so I'm endorsing the Vegas Golden Knights. So if you want to,
Right.
anytime
So
you
you're
want to
endorsing
endorse
the gambling
if they
in
wanna
Las
endorse
Vegas.
Sports Unfolded.
Yes.
I mean, we'd gladly take that
Yeah.
anytime.
It's okay.
Armbar. I think he literally wants to take you down. Is what he's basically saying. He wants to wrestle you.
No.
He must have seen the show with Short Sleeve Samson where you were going to get in the ring. Daniel wants to just wrestle you. It has nothing to do with winning.
No. He said Ron takes it with an arm bar. An arm bar.
All right.
That means like
I don't
wrestle
know
you
about
down
that.
is like I win.
Las Vegas. See? Dan. Thank you, Daniel. Finally. How about some NBA here? April 24th, Lakers at Mavericks.
Wait, did you skip over one?
No.
Okay, so Lakers at Mavs, going Mavs.
Ooh.
Woo! Luka!
Luka. AD's
Luka,
back with
I
the
am your
Lakers.
father.
But I mean, I got to go Mavs there too. I just think
Yeah.
Lakers don't have
See,
enough.
this is how he stays in the race. He just picks what I pick, so that way he can stay ahead.
Dream on. I picked the winning teams. I picked the right teams.
Yeah,
You just
after I
happened to
pick
get
'em.
lucky. You got lucky. A couple times you get lucky. It happens.
Yeah, okay.
April 25th, we got the Suns at the Nets.
What's the date today?
Today is the 23rd.
23rd.
23rd. It's 2 days. Is it because the sun's out? I mean, I'm a little lost what the date had to do with it, but
Well, because it's 2 days from now, and
the Suns have
I
lost
think-
back-to-back games.
yes, and they're gonna come out and they're gonna smoke the Nets at Brooklyn.
So you know what we
I
need
wouldn't
to
be
do?
surprised if like half the team is
This,
out. Anyway.
this is what we need to do.
It's just that they're all hurt.
We need to, yes, but we need to do like a rewind session every so often because you were like the Brooklyn Nets are not losing a single game the rest of the season.
I didn't say they weren't
I
going to
want,
lose a single
I,
game.
we are next week.
As
I want my
they're hurt,
producer,
I'm going to take advantage
Nick,
of that.
my producer, next week. Can I get that audio next week of Ron saying that the Nets will not lose a single game the rest of the season.
Yeah, if they were all healthy.
I want that audio.
If they were healthy.
Okay. I'm gonna go Suns, but I'm gonna go Suns because
you want to keep your lead, so you have to go with what I go.
I'm gonna go with the Suns because they don't have the Harden. The Nets still don't have Harden.
Right. This is why I'm picking them.
You know what? I'm going Nets. I'm going Nets because you just talked me into the fact that you're wrong. Let's go Nets.
Thank you, Daniel. The Suns. Yep. The Mavs. Yep. Macaroni.
I don't know macaroni what that stands for, but is that
I don't know.
is that some code name?
It's what your picks are. It's macaroni.
So it's good.
I don't know.
Who doesn't like macaroni?
I don't know.
That's a good thing. All right. Hey, if you enjoyed the show, thank you. We appreciate you watching every Friday night on Facebook, YouTube, on Twitch. We broadcast live on Rhode Island Broadcasting. If you want to follow us on social media, at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, or Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. We are looking for fans. Please like, share, follow anytime. We'd love to hear from you. Reach out to the show, especially if there's a topic you'd like us to cover. As you can see, we can debate some topics, but we also agree on some stuff. So feel free to reach out to the show and let us know. And if you'd like to join us live in studio and watch,
I would love that.
right? How much fun would that be? We get some fans in the studio so they can.
You get a car. You get a car. No, you don't get any cars.
Here
you
we
don't
go.
get no cars.
No cars. Maybe Matchbox. We could try something.
Yeah, we could do that.
Try that. But we're really excited to get some fans in studio. So next week, if you'd like to join us, just reach out and we'll give you details on how you could do that. If you are going to watch next week's show, which we hope you do, we're going to discuss the draft first round with the Patriots. So that's Thursday. We'll be on Friday. So we'll get to find out who Bill Belichick decided. Did they trade up? Did they stay the same? Did he trade down?
We will break it all down.
We will break it down.
Break it down.
Maybe
winners and losers.
Maybe a
of the
Sports
draft.
Unfolded Sports Flash.
Ooh.
Might have to do that.
Sports Flash.
We're
Pay
gonna
attention Thursday night.
I think
Just in case.
I think we'll be a week out from NHL playoff hockey. So we'll discuss the Bruins
best time of the year.
Bruins playoff hockey outlook. So we'll discuss that as well. All right. So if you haven't watched our show before, basically how we end our show is we do a final thought. Our final thought can be on anything. It doesn't have to necessarily be sports related. It could be something that's going on in the world, something that's personal to us. I went first last week, so you are up first this week.
Okay. My final thought goes out to Seattle signing,
Aldon Smith.
Yeah. Why do we keep giving so many chances to players like this? You don't belong in the league. If you can't conduct yourself professionally, then you don't belong playing in the league, period. So whether you're beating up some woman that you're seeing, or, even if you're not seeing them, or doing something that just doesn't conduct yourself as a decent human. It has nothing to do with religion or anything. Just be a decent human. We should not be signing these players. Yes, I can give a chance, maybe even a second chance. But after that third strike, you're out of here. And that goes to players like Tom Wilson of the Washington Capitals. You need to get these players out that just can't be a decent human, especially playing a sport that we all love.
No, great point. And you think if they haven't learned after the second time, why should they even get that third?
Right,
So,
right.
No, outstanding point, Ron. My final thought is just about the NFL draft prospects and just what they go through. So if we look at the fact that they've got to play at least 3 years of college football, and they get this opportunity to finally make it to the professional stage, and what they have to endure during some of the questions and how they get tested and in the physical aspects of how we look at it, it's really not fair to the player, because sometimes there's certain things out there that shouldn't have been brought up or really don't have an impact on that player. So I guess, Justin Fields is one of the top quarterback prospects, and there was some discussions about his epileptic seizures. I guess his family suffers from it, and now they're saying that might hurt his draft stock when he was a top 5, possibly a top 5 candidate. And if you look at the 3 years of college, that never came up. Nobody discussed it, and now that he has an opportunity to go to the pros, it's relevant. It's just sad to see. I hope that the league starts to look at this differently and how they can impact this information getting out to the public. I don't think it's anything that the public really should have to, you know. It should just be something with the players and the teams. And if he falls, it's basically because of that information. But how's that fair to that player that the public knows why he failed? But once again, we want to thank you for watching our show tonight. We were live, and we are live every Friday night on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, on Rhode Island Broadcasting. I thought it was a great show.
It was a great show, and Daniel actually loved it.
Daniel, thank you. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it. Appreciate all our fans out there that are watching live. Please support us. Follow us on social media. Reach out to the show. Give us ideas about the show. We would definitely appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and fans out there, have a great night.
Take care.